आपका आँख आँख ठीक है?
यस यस, अभी ठीक है। इट्स गेटिंग रिकॉर्डेड।
हम्म।
आई थिंक विल स्टार्ट। ओके। यस फाइन। ओके। सो so far, so till last class, right? Last session we discussed all these, like what is real time processing and etc. Anybody wants me to recap, or how it is? How should I go? Because as per me, this is done. I'll start new third session. Let me know, Samudra, Priya, how should I go about it?
For me, it's clear. You can proceed.
Oh, okay. Okay. So we'll slightly go a bit up. Meaning, so far we discussed what? We discussed. Okay. So far we discussed these things, right? Let me just pen it down. So we discussed what is data, right? How we collect, uh, what are methodologies, collection methodologies, methods, collection methods like ETL and ELT. We discussed real time real time processing and batch processing. All right. We also discussed what is DB, DW, and um, data link. Correct. Now we also understood how the whole data lifecycle, right? How it is sourced to how it is processed to how it is stored, right? Just to give you a it's at a high level, these things, right? Tap, capture, store, process, and utilize it. Utilize meaning uh, do analytics on top of it, right? And take decisions out of it, right? Correct. So now this is the way it is captured. Now we'll understand how we utilize for decisions, right? I know it will be slightly repetitive here and there, but it is very important to understand how it is sourced to how decisions are made. Okay. Now, uh, okay. So in this session, which is data to decisions, right? We will understand through a case study. We'll take a case study and we will see how uh, data, like what type of analytics we can do, types of analytics. Now I'm not talking about types of data or types of the process in which through which we can source the data or store the data. The types of analytics that we can do, right? How we can do so everybody knows what data is, but very few knows how to read it, how to comprehend it, right? How to make drive insight out of it, how to drive inference out of it, right? So we'll see all these, and also at the end we'll see what role do we have to, as a analytics fellows, what that core capability that we bring, right, to uncover the decisions. So that being said, oh, I was not sharing screen. Okay, once again, sorry. Guys, you should tell me that screen is not visible. Able to see it now?
We can see your PPT.
Yeah. The PPT only.
Yeah,
You're able to
it
see?
was shared.
Okay,
Yeah, it
okay,
was shared before.
okay. Thanks. So, okay, that being said, let's meet Raju, right? Why I have so there's this thing, right? Why always I take Kirana store or retail industry example, right? Because it is very intuitive. It's very everywhere. We see it every day. We can empathize more with this problem or with this kind of a setup, right? So that's why Kirana store example I have given. So let's understand this. There is this guy Raju who runs a Kirana store in Bangalore for 12 years, right? Now his core problem, or not his, it's like majority of the Kirana store who does not have that data mindset faces this, right? Stock out few of the things that is very very demanding, or the demand is very much high, that those things uh, goes stock out, right? The stock out happens. So sometimes some week it does not happen, then again next week that particular item is not available. So there is a very frequent demand. If we speak about in very retail specific terms, there is very sporadic demand for a certain products. That product here is Parle-G, for example. Consider this, right? Now, so when customer asks, like, there is give me one Parle-G, and he says that I don't have. Now what he thinks, he will think that, okay, when it was available, nobody was coming. Now when it is not there, everybody is coming and asking for it, right? So instead of data blaming, he is blaming his luck, right? Now this is his entire problem. Now what he needs to do, he is unaware of what he needs to do, right? So as a consultant, as an analytics consultant, I am appointing, let's say I'm Raju, or there is, let's say I'm Raju, and then I'm appointing Priya or Samudra as a consultant over here, right? Now, what all sort of questions we can ask, what all sorts of data he can collect, we will ask him to collect. What sort of analytics that we will do, so that he is able to at least stockpile that particular item during peak hours of the day. Peak hours can be of the day, of the week, right? So I mean, it's generally Saturday, Sunday, we see, right? Saturday, Sunday, the demand goes up. So that kind of analytics we'll have to suggest him, right? So that uh, his sales increases, volume increases, hence revenue increases, and he becomes a happy guy. Okay, so that's the overall framing of the problem. Now let's move ahead, right? So one of the most important thing that you will ask, just sit back and just understand, okay? Do you write, let's ask Raju, do you have anything written, like, do you maintain any stock in, stock out, inventory kind of a data table, or any data did you maintain, right? That's the number one question that you ask. Now what happens is he says, yes, I do have a register, okay, and he has maintained this kind of these data, okay. So as a consultant, you asked, what is do you have any data? Because you may blame luck, but data will not tell otherwise, right? It will tell you the truth. Now, when you list down this data and you just see, right? Monday, 22 quantities was sold. Tuesday again 18, Wednesday 20, Thursday 19, Friday 25, Saturday 38, right? And Sunday again, let's say for example, Sunday he sold 67 packets. Now, if you go and extrapolate it for a month, you will see that Sundays are always high. I mean, you're asking the data because in one day, in one week, you will not understand much of it, right? So you will need the length of the data because you will ask him, do you have additional data? Like, 1 week is not helping. Do you have any other data? So let's say he give you for a month or 2 day, 2 month data. Now, when you observe, you see that every Sundays there is a spike. Okay. So normally, what you will suggest? So it seems, Sunday, every Sunday, you will see that there is 67 or 80 packs is going away. So stockpile earlier, right? That's a general, without seeing anything, without seeing doing any calculation, any maths, right? We will be able to tell that. At least maintain an average 60, 67 packets on Sundays, every Sundays, right? So that's what it is mentioned over here. In fact, something is happening on Sundays. So other days, if you take an average, there is almost 20 packs which is going on. If you take the average of all those 5, 6 days, and on Sundays there is a spike, right? That spike can be because due to anything. So people will ask like why it happened. That why is another level of analytics, but just understand here he has these much of data. Okay. Now when we go, when we understand this, so when we talk about his problem, what was it? He is unaware what is happening. He doesn't know, uh, you know, uh, what to do with with the data. He has this data, right? Now, that being said, just remember this. Now we'll talk about what four kinds of analytics people generally do. Okay. Now, for example, I took all these. One second, sorry. You saw all these data, right? All days data, right? If you had to plot this, if you have to plot this, right, as it is, there is no nothing brainer, nothing like that, right? Just going back historical data and plotting it, correct? So, and you describe that, okay, 67 packets you will require in Sundays. So what kind of analytics is that? Okay, just that, like, you're not saying, suggesting anything. You're just saying whatever is there in the data, you're just saying this, that, stating that, stating the same fact, whatever the data is saying to you. Okay, so that analytics is called as descriptive. It's a rear view mirror. If you talk about in a very story way, it's a rear view mirror, meaning what happened. So this data tells me what happened. Okay, what generally happens, right? So that is descriptive analytics. Okay, any questions so far? Because this is going to be very interesting, and it over the period of time it will be very very important, because people do ask how things will come up. Okay, give me a dashboard. So dashboard generally is what happened, descriptive. Okay, now if you see a spike, for example, if I see a spike, right, and somebody asks me that why it happened, that is called as why, means root cause analysis. You have to you have to find out the root of why it happened. So you will ask him more questions, as in, uh, why happened, why there is sudden increase in Sundays? Do you see increase in the head count, walk-ins? How many walk-ins come on Sundays? Okay. Do you live in a place where children are more, meaning there is a society nearby, maybe there is a playground nearby, right? So all sort of questions you will ask. So that is your, root cause analysis, which is diagnostic. Why did it happen? Why did it happen? You kind of picturize yourself as a detective. Okay, what could have been the reason? Okay, so that is called as diagnostic. Okay, finding the root cause. Now, for example, now in the same data set, if Raju asks, now please, sir, tell me, in the next month and so, how much quantity should I, keep on Sundays? Okay, you understand the way I'm asking the questions, or the way he's asking the question, is changing everything altogether, right? Now he is trying to, you know uh, act in a proactive way, meaning he wants to predict, he wants to forecast things so that he's better prepared to cater to the customers. He do not want any revenue losses now. Okay, because he thinks he has data, he knows, he has done diagnostic, he has done descriptive. Now he wants to predict something, he wants to forecast. How much should I keep now, from now onwards to, let's say, a quarter? How much should I keep every day? Right? There can be, again, uh, there can be, due to some holidays, there can be a sudden rise or spike in the demand. So these things are called as seasonality. Okay, seasonality means due to some campaigns, the sales increases, or there is a sudden spike in the behavior, user behavior, right? So these are called as seasonality. Okay, now let's not digress into what is seasonality and all, but just let's speak here. And now, if he wants to forecast, right? If he wants to predict something, so that is future focused, which means he's trying to do predictive analytics, which is very very important. Nowadays people try to predict everything. People try to predict consumer behavior. People try to predict the uh, the sales, the revenue, because they want to be future proofed, future focused. They want to analyze, so that, see, predictive can is done because, let's say, you have a goal of, we predicted that there should be 800 million dollars of revenue at the end of, let's say, Q2. So it gives you a goal, it gives you a strategic goal, right? And you try to achieve it. In some cases you can achieve, in some cases you cannot, but it is very very important to predict. And businesses have gone crazy because of this. They want to predict everything. They want to predict your demand. They want to predict the supply. They want to predict the pricing of it. They want to, whatnot. You think in any direction. They, like banks, they want to predict if somebody is on, is willing to take loan, right? The same thing, right? When you try to apply for loan, you start getting calls. So they want to predict everything, right? Now, so predicting is, okay, this much of you should keep. Okay, now there is another type which is prescriptive. Think like a doctor, right? What it does, he when you go in his cabin, he just starts to feel your heartbeat and everything, like, it's through his stethoscope. I do not understand those terminologies, but just understand the feel of it. So he's trying to understand your body, right? Then if he says, okay, if there is some niggle in or some pain, like that, then he goes to diagnostic, what could have been the root cause, right? The x-rays, tests, and everything, right? Then he prescribes you the medicine. And he also says that do not do these things, because these things can happen. So that he's trying to predict as well, right? So in this case, what you can prescribe to Raju is, boss, what you can do is you can put 67 packets, or in any seasonal days. Let's say if there is Holi, if there is summer vacation, on those days also you should keep uh, a good inventory. Okay, so that's called prescriptive. It's more empathetic in nature, right? So let's say, for example, a risk. we are trying to identify a risk, and you say that, bro, don't go there. You may face some issue, or if you're going there, take this with you, right? So it's more kind of a guidance. It's more of a like a highest value, empathetic in nature. So this is what the four pillars of analytics I'd call about, right? So and it's not like you do only one. You sometimes you do only one, sometimes you do couple of it, mix and match of it. So how it can be, okay, let's take a pause. Any issues so far? Okay, I think it's clear, right? So at a high level, or I mean, we discuss in detail itself. So these are four pillars of analytics. Okay, now this is what I have already told you all, right? I mean, in a nutshell, I have described this. So we will just go through this, right? So descriptive is what happened, the rear view mirror. So if you plot it, you will see that on Sundays there are more units sold, right? And then again weekly or monthly. So what you all can do is, just to understand what descriptive understand, there is this example of dashboards, right? You can go to any public sites, Tableau public, if you want to, or if you want to use Google Excel sheet also, it's fine. Download any data, just plot it. Just download, take, or you just create your own data, or just take this data only. Monday, day, item, quantity sold, right? But don't take it this one in strings, take in numbers, right? So when you take in numbers, you will be able to plot in Excel, right? So you plot it and then just see what's happening, right? And then you can drive basic charts like uh, uh, you know histogram, there is bar chart, there is uh, uh, what do you call it, um, donut chart, and etc., right? Now this is descriptive. You're just describing what happened in past, or what your data is telling. So similarly, diagnostic. So what all things can become? Maybe schools are closed on Sundays, family watch TV together, evening walks and gathering, weekly shopping day for many. So what can happen is, in a week, for example, many folks, what they do is they go on Sundays to, buy grocery for the entire week. So they are uh, hoarding, not holding, but they're keeping a stock of it, so that through the whole week they can utilize that. So these are the questions that you can ask, or maybe the RCA of it, right? This is the RCA of it. Now similarly, predictive is like I said, uh, what he should do on the next Sunday. Okay, so these way you can understand, right? So tools like, the trend lines, there is something called as trend lines. Okay, let's just understand this. I'll talk about what trend lines and all etc are. So got it, right? This is predictive. Now prescriptive, like when he should order, how much he should order, on which day he should order. All these you will be able to tell when you just see the data, right? Okay. So far what we discussed is this one, his entire journey. So in one case, we discussed everything. Okay. Any any questions so far? No, right? Okay. I think it's clear only. So I think everybody in the, okay, one second. Let me see the trend line. Okay. For example, there is some stocks. If somebody is very active on stock, they might know what trend lines are. So this is week or days. Let's say days, week, or months. I mean, depending upon the filter, right? Like in stock, you have filter, right? WOW, week over week, yearly. Then you have days of the week, and etc. Like this, you will have. Then you have this prices, like let's say 200, 150, 100, 50, and then this is 0, right? So, for example, when some company goes to IPO, this is very raw example, I'm just making it up now. So, for example, some company goes to IPO and it lists at, let's say, 100 rupees. Okay, the starting price is 100 rupees. Now, next day it goes up again 150, let's say, for example. Good company, it's seeing a jump of 50. But yeah, so it goes again, then it goes flat, then it goes down, and then gets calm, right? So this is what it is. This is the trend line. What the trend line is, like, how it is behaving, right? This is daily. But if you do over years and years, right, you will find something very smooth. For example, if I sticker.com, right? That is sticker.com, ticker tape. Let me just, right. See this trend line, right? And trend is always respect to date. So if you want to draw something on the trend, on a trend graph, then the x-axis has to be date. That is mandatory, because trend always have respect with respect to time. It can be this, it can be this, it can be anything, right? So this is trend line. Now I have just given what chart types we have, and I cannot scribe over here, so I just go here, right? So when bar chart is used, when line chart is used, and when pie chart is used, right? Fine, right? I mean, I'm not going very fast, or not, you're not able to get it. So, someone, is it okay for you? Any thumbs up or anything would be fine. Okay. Okay, so there are other charts as well, but these I have taken these three because these are the normal ones which are very used predominantly. These are very primitive but yet very powerful. So we have this line chart again. So line chart can be X and Y, can be anything. Just, you are not in bar. Okay, I'll have to. So in bar chart, you are giving the blocks, right? But if you convert bar chart to line, you will see this. There is no and there is no distinction between. I mean, there is no difference. It's just that here you have bars and here you have the dots connecting to it, right? And then uh, this, right, pie chart is used when you have categories and you want to derive, let's say you have total revenue is 100%, right? Now there will be, let's say, understand this PepsiCo company, right? PepsiCo, you have Lay's, you have what all will be there? Kurkure. Then you have Mazda. Then you have Coca-Cola, Pepsi. Okay. Now, let's say this bring 20% revenue. This is 25. This is again 20%, right? And this figure becomes 35%, right? So when you plot this, in bar chart, you won't be able to give. In bar chart, let's say if you plot, it will be 25%. This one lays L. This will be 25%. This will be 20%. This will be 35%. But you won't be able to give, out of 100, the bifurcation of that revenue, right? Here, this is not the best representation. The best representation would be this becomes your 100%, the whole circle. Then you take from here to here, like whatever the percentage is, and then you, dissect it, like, you denote the percentages. So now you are able to say, okay, 25% of the revenue comes from Kurkure, 35% comes from Pepsi. So better visualization is this one. So it's not that we need to just visualize, but there should be a better way of doing everything, right? That's what it intends to showcase, right? Okay. The one thing is, if you have more categorization, do not use bar pie chart, because what will happen? Anybody? Why? What will happen if you do more categories? If you plot by bar chart for more categories?
The number of
Any?
bar will go increase to infinite numbers.
Right. So what will happen is, what she is essentially saying is, let's say you have 100. So what will happen is, you will just see thin lines. You won't be able to make clear distinction. Okay. So here it fails. But if you have less, like maximum 5, then this is worth giving a shot. Okay. That's that is what uh, this slide is all about. Now, and guys, you have to go and work. I'll tell you, okay, I'll let me stop here, but I'll tell you what you all can do. Okay. This is Tableau Public. Okay. Go to Tableau Public, register here. It is free of cost, no charges, nothing. If you want to learn dashboarding, visualization, you can start doing it. It's a drag and drop facility, nothing else. Okay. Uh, just try it out, or even if you can go to Sheets and do it. You can get data from here, data.gov. You can go get n number of data from here. Most view data sets, you just download the data sets, right? Let's say quantitative or housing data. This is the most used data set. Okay, of housing relevance. Wow, program exit data. Okay, so you can download anything, any see Excel also is there. Download it and try to understand what sort of analytics you can do. Do not use ChatGPT. Do not use that. I know it can do wonders, but let's not use it. Let's just understand. If you are able to, at least, at the very, very least, you should be able to do descriptive analytics. Okay. Descriptive analytics means just saying whatever is there in the data. Okay. Or if you do not want to download data from here, you can go to Kaggle. This is also a free data sets available. Okay. You can go and type anything. Let's say FIFA only, player performance. You just download the data and then try to do descriptive analytics in Excel itself. That's the best place to start. Okay, so I am stopping here till graphs. Then we'll understand how to read a dashboard. Okay, because this is very, very interesting and very important. And this session is very easy to use, but you have to do a lot of hard work, in the sense you can go and explore Tableau Public. You can go and explore Excel data sets and everything, right? So that is one. Okay. Yes. Now I'm open to any questions if you have. Let's keep it rolling. Or do you want me to share the links here?
Yes, in the WhatsApp, it would be helpful if you can share there.
Okay, in the WhatsApp if you want. Okay. Let me share. I have given it. And What did I say? Okay, Tableau public, no? Tableau public. Copy link. Yeah, done. So just go and explore it. If you face any Tableau issues, let me know. Very, very good hands in Tableau, so that's not a problem. Yes. Any other questions that you have? If not, we can close. Okay, I see. Explain that RDBMS part. Okay, let me share my. Okay, oops. Oh, no. Stop share. Share screen. Okay, that's it. Okay. So, I mean, we discussed everything, but that RDBMS part was very important, and Samudra seems to have a question for it. So, what is RDBMS, right? RDBMS. This is relational database management system. Okay. What happens is, you know, there is this language called as SQL, structured query language. Okay. So this language is used to query data from DBs or data warehouses, right? Now, RDBMS, right? When we understood this two whole goes hand in hand. Now, RDBMS means, it's basically a system, a program in which data is stored. It's a basically data management system in which data is stored in tables. Okay, let's say there is user ID, name, salary, occupation, email ID. Okay. Now you have one user ID, you have two, you have three user ID. For example, let's keep like that. Okay. Now, or department, let's keep department. Okay. Now this is one table. Now how data comes into okay, well, let's understand that how data comes, right? So everything will come, every aspect every chunk will come in the JSON format or any other format, let's say Parquet or JSON format. So every data will be there. Like let's say there will be user ID, there will be name, there will be salary, there will be occupation data, designation data, then there will be employee ID. Okay, all these things will be there. So it's not possible for us to store every data in single table. I mean, it is possible, but it will be very difficult. So consider this, right? You have employee ID. One second. I don't know what's happening. Okay, there is employee ID. One second.